Hey guys, it's Indy. Bet you're wondering where I've went, and I'll tell you all about it in the closing notes. But for today's story, we are going to be reading an AskReddit titled, Phone Sex Workers of Reddit. What's the strangest conversation with a client that you've ever had? Back when I was still in this field of work, I had an older gentleman call and ask to chat with him over the phone while he ate dinner. Turns out it was his birthday and his missus had just passed away a few years ago, and he didn't have any close friends or family left to keep him company. He said he was lonely and he just wanted to hear another person's voice. At the end of the call, he very graciously thanked me for making his birthday a little less lonely. I came here to laugh, not cry. First reply I saw too, right in the feels. Yeah, this is the first one I saw too. It's kind of sad. I feel bad for him. I do phone and cam work via NightFlirt and Skype, and I cannot even begin to list all of the strange and weird conversations I've had with clients, but a good one to start off with would have to be with Robot Man. Robot Man was this guy who'd call and enact me to refer to myself in a robotically, anatomically correct terms, such as chest panel and crotch panel, and even wanted to send me a silver jumpsuit to wear on camera so I could look like a robot. In his eyes, at least. I definitely indulged his fantasy because he'd send me $1,000 an hour. At first I was like, no. And then I read $1,000 an hour and I was like, beep boop. Hey, same. LOL. And that is basically how you become a cam girl. Well, if anybody knows how to become a cam girl, hit me up. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't normally do hypnosis stuff because I find it super boring. But I had a caller several years back who wanted to be hypnotized into being his own dick. No, I don't understand how that works either. So for about 2 hours, I gradually worked with this guy through an intricate process of shrinking down into his dick, and then into his balls. Then his dick somehow fucked his balls, like some kind of bobious strip of cock and balls. Eventually he came so hard he literally fell off his chair, screaming so loud that I thought my eardrums would burst. And then he had to hang up immediately and wash his hands and dick because he was a germaphobe and his own cum disgusted him. As for me, I had said the words dick, penis, cock, and balls so many times in those 2 hours that they were just meaningless mouth noise. I've been doing phone sex for over 25 years now, and I've had some others that are just as weird if y'all are interested. How is anything just as weird? Oh honey. I've had a guy who was saving money call to pay me to make a custom video of me eating a roasted rabbit while I talk to it as if it's him. It's a stand-in for himself and his cannibal fantasies. I have a caller, one of my favorite regulars, he's very sweet and his calls are very easy for me, who likes for me to read him stories he emails me that he's written about torturing Hollywood actresses. I have an elderly man who calls to talk about his obsession with vintage girdles and bras. I've had many sissy callers who are into stimulating menstrual periods by wearing pads or putting tampons up their butts. One in particular is fascinated by old-fashioned sanitary bills. You're weird. Why the hell would you want to wear a tampon if you don't have to? Anyways, men will send me pictures of their wives and ask me to insult/demean them as I talk about beating their wives up while they watch. Watch out. One guy has a fantasy about a rich white woman who grows a big black dick and the things that she does with said big black dick. This is just scratching the surface, mind you. Okay. I have an ex who used to do phone sex work. She had a dude call in one time and asked to sing him happy birthday. She got the impression that he wasn't really trying to get off on it so much as just have somebody acknowledge his existence. She had callers more than once who just ended up into long conversations. Guys that were just talking about what stressed them out, what's going on in their lives, the shit they were dealing with, their relationships, etc. Those are the ones that stuck with her, not the horny frat guys who were calling on a dare or whatever. Just dudes who wanted to hear a sweet voice say nice things to them and listen to what they were saying. Of course, there was also one dude who wanted to listen to her rub her own feet. It takes all kinds. Stop. I can only get so erect. You scumbag, you bastard, you cretin, you creep. I hope against hope that you choke in your sleep. I hope you're a failure in all that you do. I hope your life is as awful as you. You moron, you asshole, you dimwit, you dick. You pitiful, painful excuse for a prick. I want you to know it. I want you to see that there's no one more loathsome than you are to me. She gathered her breath for her final remark. I hope that you die all alone in the dark. The doorway was open. It was closed with a slam. He whispered excited. She knows who I am. I love reading little poems that people comment. Oh look, his username checks out. Poem for your sprung. I did it for a week. I was told I was pretty good at it and I would have stayed longer if it hadn't been for this one creep. But he's not the focus. The strangest conversation was with this man I had who always wanted to make sure he was my last caller. He liked how tired I sounded and how bored I was when I tried to describe sexy stuff. I mean, I think that the sexiest line I had been said was, I think of the sexiest lines that had been said to you and now put it in the most bored tone ever. It was strange because everyone else would try and force me to put more energy and more cheerfulness, but he wanted the exhausted tone. Nice enough guy, nice enough tip. I was told by my ex-boss that he misses me dearly. I worked at a crisis hotline. Unfortunately, a lot of dudes use it as a sex phone line. We had one guy call us who was masturbating just to talk about how big of a coward he was. I like my new job better. I had a girlfriend who worked at a crisis line and said the same thing. Lots of sex callers. A story she once told me was, a guy rings up, he has a really nervous voice and he's talking about how he's on edge, saying he's having a panic attack, thinking about offing himself, and this goes on for a bit. All of a sudden he goes, hold on, let me pass the phone to my friend. And she goes, but why? Your friend doesn't need help, right? He goes, no, I'll just pass it to him for a minute. His friend answers the phone and his friend has a deep alpha male type voice and his friend says, I've just taken the phone from him. Now you're talking to me. His friend is obviously the same guy, just putting on a different voice, and the friend then starts talking about the usual sex talk stuff. As far as she can work out, the idea was to get her to stay on the line by dangling the idea that there was someone who actually needed help, or it was kind of a roleplay fantasy on the guy's part. She hung up regardless. Okay, I'm smart and I realize the retention that the videos I make about sex work and sex workers get a lot more attention. So I figured this would probably be a good video to ease back into it with. But yeah, as for me and my whereabouts, I really haven't been doing much of anything. Having a little bit of health crisis, but that's fine. I have to go to the hospital in the morning for an appointment. Not gonna get into that because it's a little TMI, but I should be all good. We'll see. As for me personally, I've just been taking a lot of time out to relax myself before I head off back to college and, work on myself, work on my body, getting better for myself. I don't know if I've mentioned it in any of my other videos, but I started doing this thing about a month or two ago called intermittent fasting, which is basically where you only eat between certain hours of the day. So I only usually eat, if I'm sticking to it, between 12 and 8 p.m. and then I use 8 to 9 as a flex hour in case I'm super hungry. But I've been doing that and I've lost, I want to say I was close to like 170s-ish when I started, and now I'm like in 140s, so that's super good. I've just been feeling a lot better about myself, just trying to do a lot more things that are self-care-y, so shall we say. Yeah, other than that, I really don't know any other updates I can give at the moment, like off the top of my head. I dyed my hair red. I used to have my hair red a lot when I was in high school, and it looks super cute on me, and I decided I would dye it back red. But I don't know if any girlies are listening, but like, does anybody else get this impulse feeling where it's like, I'm like, oh, I want to dye my hair, I want to dye my hair, I want to dye my hair, and then I do it, and then as soon as I fucking dye my hair, I'm like, oh, I want to dye it black, I want to dye it back black. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like my hair color, it's sick, it's dope as hell, but there's still this nagging voice in the back of my head like, dye your hair back black, dye it back dark. So I'm gonna try and resist the urge. But I guess we'll see how that goes. Anyways, guys, my voice is like cracking. I haven't done like this voiceover shit in so long. My voice is like giving out. But yeah. Only thing left for me to say is bye.